This is Chris Jenkins with Charlotte Vibe. I am joined today by Patrick Cannon, Democratic candidate for mayor for Charlotte this year. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us a little bit today.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get started. Who is Patrick Cannon? Let's get started there. Tell us about yourself.
Who am I? Patrick Cannon is a native Charlottean.
Mm-hmm.
He's a product of Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, a husband,
Mm-hmm.
a father, a businessman of 15 years, and a servant leader. A servant leader that has had an opportunity graciously by the people of the wonderful city of Charlotte to be elected at the age of 26 back in 1993 as a district representative.
Mm-hmm.
And then after serving there for a number of years and or terms, being able to run citywide and being elected at large. And not just at large, but each one of the times that I have been elected at large by the people, I've been elected to be able to serve as Mayor Pro Tem.
Mm-hmm.
That in turn has allowed me to actually serve in many instances as the mayor in the absence of the mayor when the times have presented themselves accordingly.
Okay,
So that's a little bit about me.
Charlotte native, right?
I am.
So you probably had a good chance to see a lot about the changes for this city, right? Let's talk briefly about your vision for the city of Charlotte if you were be able to become mayor.
Well, my vision is to make sure that Charlotte is recognized as a place that has an international look or flavor to it by way of eyes that would be overseas as well as those that will be here domestically.
Mm-hmm.
And those eyes would see a city, from my perspective, of a city that's balanced. Balanced in terms of making sure that there are economic opportunities available for those that seek it.
Mm-hmm.
Balanced in terms of making sure that there are business development opportunities that also occur here. Also a place that, from a public safety perspective, that people can feel like they are safe in an environment where they know that they can live, work, raise a family, recreate, and enjoy faith-based opportunities as well that may occur here.
How do you think we're currently doing on some of those?
Well, relative to economic development,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're doing good, but we could be doing better. And so as mayor, the one thing I want to make sure that I concentrate on is recruiting businesses to the city of Charlotte. More so blue collar.
Okay.
In as much as we have white collar opportunities here, and I think we still need to go after those white collar opportunities, Chris, I think we need to go back to, again, a balance of what we used to have that made Charlotte a very strong place, and that is we had a very good balance of blue collar opportunities as well as white collar opportunities. You see, I remember the days of Converse being here, and General Tire, and Fruhoff Trucking Company, and McClancy Pepper Company. Those were entities that were good paying opportunities for people who necessarily didn't maybe want to go on to college.
Okay.
Or pursue a 2-year degree. People had options then, Chris.
So let's get that blue collar to balance out the educational levels and still have everybody have some good finances.
Absolutely. And let's tie in Central Piedmont Community College for any additional training that people might need to have. Let's tie in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools and how they can engage some of their youth with what we can provide on the city side. One of the things I happen to do is to bring about Flight 1547, which is the plane that landed on the Hudson River.
Mm-hmm.
You'll recall that. That now is at the Aviation Museum. What I'd like to have happen is to create an opportunity between Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools and Central Piedmont Community College, where we provide apprenticeships for those youth to be able to come in and get some hands-on experience in terms of how to repair airplane engines.
Okay.
Last time I checked, that was a pretty good paying profession. And knowing and understanding that some of our people that do that business right now or do that line of work are aging out presents a prime opportunity, I think, for our youth here in the city of Charlotte or anyone of age to be able to take advantage of.
Yes. Now, many people don't know, but politically in Charlotte, the mayor doesn't by default have a lot of power, so to say, for change. So you have to be good at working with other parties and bringing other teams together to support your vision. Talk about that, how you would accomplish that. How do you feel like you would be up for that challenge?
Well, actually, the mayor's office is strong from this standpoint, even though it's a council manager form of government.
Mm-hmm.
It's strong in the sense that the mayor's office is able to actually set the vision. Where it would take more than one member of the city council and in this case probably 6 or 7, typically 6, to be able to put something on the agenda. It only takes the mayor the ask. And so if my agenda or my vision for the city of Charlotte is to address economic development, public safety, housing, particularly for our seniors, disabled, our veterans, and the least of those who can afford market rate housing, and also concentrate on transportation, a comprehensive transportation plan, where of course we have sidewalks and bike lanes and good quality roads and alternative modes of transportation or transit. I'm able to do that as mayor just by saying so. And that is what allows me to be able to set the tone for where we move and how we move forward in this city. And so what I would do though to bring about that opportunity, to create the vision or to meet the vision, is to make sure that my policy is one that I have an open door process. That means that members of the city council would have an opportunity to come and we sit at the table. And it doesn't have to be my table per se, but it needs to be a table somewhere, because I don't mind stepping out of my own office to go to someone else's office to make the proper inroads to create the opportunity.
Okay.
That's what it takes for a good mayor, I think, to be successful in the city of Charlotte. And that's what I would do in terms of meeting with members of council, meeting with those in the private sector, as well as the faith-based community and nonprofit to help us to move Charlotte to the next level.
Okay, all right. Let's, if you don't mind, go over a few recent headlines that have been taking place in the city, just to kind of get your take on it if you were our mayor. The airport. There's a lot of talk about the airport.
So where do you want to land on that?
But well, let's make sense of it for the casual person that says, hey, I just go to the airport to go over my business trip. What is all this fuss about? How does it really impact me? Why should I care?
The fuss is really, in my opinion, much about what should not have been from this perspective. Think about when you have a child and you're the parent, okay? In this case, the parent would be the state. The city of Charlotte would be the child. Why? Because they are the sovereign. They supersede us. They oversee us to a great extent. But a parent shouldn't scold a child if the child hasn't been doing anything wrong.
Unfortunately, it resulted in a fatality involving an officer. How do you think the city's handling that?
Well, you know, I think the city is handling it as best it can. Obviously, there's some tensions surrounding it, but I think the greatest thing that could have happened did happen, and that is Chief Rodney Monroe did not rest on doing what I think he needed to do in terms of saying to this officer, "You're out of line," and in turn having him arrested for what is taking place. Now, mind you, I wouldn't want to see any officer arrested. I wouldn't want to see anybody arrested. But when you operate outside of potentially the things that you've been trained on how to do, you can leave your superior no other choice other than to do that. And so we are in a place where the officer has gotten out on bail at this stage. He has his own counsel representing him, and there will be a day where he'll have to go back and appear in court. The young man's mother has come up from Florida and has said, you know, she forgives the officer for what he did. But at the same time, I know that that family is expecting justice to occur for their son. Truly an unfortunate situation for all involved on both sides of this. I can only be hopeful that in the future we have officers that continue to think through the process when things are happening like that. Now, granted, you never know what's going on in somebody's head, Chris, when they are dealing directly with something like that. So if it was a fear factor, if it was something else, you have to, though, be mindful as best you can of your training, and I think that's what's going to come into question when this thing finds its way through the court system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on quickly to the next one. DNC was recently here. How do you feel the city did with handling the DNC and the monies involved and all that?
Well, you know, if you look at other cities that had the DNC in years past, you saw a lot of things going on that you didn't want to see. You saw riots in the street. You saw protesting that didn't need to occur the way that was occurring. But I will tell you that Um, the police chief, once again, had Charlotte to be shined upon like you wouldn't believe, not just domestically, but internationally. And so it has shown well for Charlotte because I personally, as Mayor Pro Tem, have been having meetings with ambassadors who have an interest in wanting to see how they can do business with us here. And hopefully we'll be able to do some business abroad where it's a trade barter situation. All that means well for Charlotte because now we're able to hopefully put somebody back to work, because if you lose a job today, you're not necessarily getting one on tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And we need to be able to forge all the types of relationships we can to create a better place for people to know that good things can happen right here in the city of Charlotte. So a lot of great things are happening as a result of the DNC. I'm looking forward to the future conventions that will come here from other related entities out there.
Okay. Last one that is very of high interest to our users is this little event that goes on every year called the CIAA.
Oh.
I don't know if you heard about it or not, but
I don't think I have.
Are we doing all we can for it to stay? Do you think it's going to stay?
You know, Chris,
should it stay?
Should it stay? There's no question it should stay. Largely in part because I brought it here. So you're talking about a baby of mine that I still got the people in Raleigh really mad with me about. But we offered a very good proposal. Mm-hmm. Charlotte is a place in the way of our uptown where it's a village in itself. Mm-hmm. You know, you can enjoy our museums, you can enjoy our fine cuisines, you can enjoy greenery with our parks that are uptown, and you can enjoy our area hotels. There's just so much to offer and other forms of entertainment. And so they got it, realized it. The thing that we need to do now is to maintain it because there are still other cities like DC, Atlanta, and obviously Raleigh that would like to have an opportunity to snatch it from us. So we need to make sure though that we are doing all in which we can to make sure that the CIAA is being treated like it should be. They are a client. They help to generate, 40 some odd million dollars to this economy. That's a great thing. And I saw that and I had that vision a long time ago, knowing and understanding that this could grow from what would be single digits in the millions to where we are today in double digits. And it's been very good for Charlotte. We need to make it very good for the CIAA. But I think a lot of that means making sure that we're having area discussions with our hotels, hoteliers, I should say, making sure that these entertainment venues are doing what they can. And what I mean by that is simply this. It's more than just a basketball game. It's more than just an experience. It's an opportunity for us to be able to raise capital for our area youth who need, and not just our area youth, but across this country, that want to have an opportunity to get an education. We need some folks out here that, we have some folks out here that need scholastic dollars. And it's important from my perspective and where I sit that it's just not about a party, but it's truly about an opportunity to create scholastic dollars to bring about those opportunities for those kids.
Okay. We started off, Patrick, getting to know you. Now let's, and concluding, let's help the casual voters understand the difference between yourself and your Republican candidate, Mr. Peacock, in terms of what differences are there between you two and your campaigns that you'd like to point out.
Well, I think you're going to find with me, I have a reputation of being progressive, of being proactive. And if you go to cannonformayor.com, you'll see that I have been proven by way of the level of works and deeds that I've been able to provide over the years. You haven't seen that by way of the opposition. You also haven't seen something else that we have in the way of something I said early on within the show, and that is, I've had a chance and still act in the absence of the mayor to actually be the mayor. And so when it gets down to being able to recruit companies into corporations here, I know what that's about. When it gets down to making sure that we're bringing in area conventions, for instance, the NBA All-Star game.
Okay.
Just might be around the corner with the right people at the table.
Uh-huh.
Those are conversations I'm engaged in. Talking to Joel Osteen and folks like that to bring them here. So it's a combination of things. Even, look, the RNC, in as much as it may not raise a lot of money per se, or help our bottom line to the extent that we have seen CIAA, you're still back under that international microscope again, and that's bringing in other opportunities for this city. International soccer, ACC, baseball. Now that we have a baseball stadium here, that's going to be very good for us. But you're going to find that I have, I think, an aptitude that's beyond where the opposition's aptitude may be by way of my experience. I've been around for some time now to be able to understand what it takes to be able to be the mayor of the city. And so those issues surrounding economic development and housing and public safety and transportation, I have a very good handle on. And I think, no, I know I'll be able to move the city forward by way of the way I'm able to work with others that are out there across the board on the federal, state, and local level, be it in the private sector or governing itself.
Okay. Patrick, I appreciate you taking the time in the middle of your campaign season for the upcoming mayor. So this is Chris Jenkins alongside with Patrick Cannon. Thank you all for watching. For CharlotteVibe.com.